Today, huge win for #1 Clemson, 73-70 over Georgia Tech. Trevor Lawrence over 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. So these guys tonight certainly have something to shoot at. Two fine quarterbacks, and BC will get their first crack at it. Coming in at 3-1, Jurkovec has just been sensational. He has set the BC record for most touchdown passes, 8 of them, and completions, 99 in a quarterback's first 4 games. And BC has had some really fine quarterbacks. He transferred from Notre Dame in January, was frustrated with the Irish, and then he has been shot out of a cannon at the quarterback position. And tonight, here on 1st and 10, getting his first look at the Virginia Tech defense. So the Eagles looking to pick up their 4th win and knock off a nationally ranked opponent in their home stadium. And a handoff immediately to Bailey off that left side. David Bailey on the first carry. Great to see Divine Diablo in on the tackle, though. He's a guy they get back at free safety for the Hokies, Tim. That's huge.
That is huge, Dave. He really, I think, is their best defensive player. Not because he's the most physically talented, but he's played a lot of football. He's smart. He knows where to be. He's a leader. They really missed him a week ago.
2nd down and 3 for the Eagles. Jurkovec with a man in motion, the tight end Hunter Long, and he is a giant target in more ways than one for Boston College. No room to run there for Bailey as he is stopped by Pollard, who saw that one coming, and no gain on the play, actually lost a yard.
And I would expect Boston College to try to run out of kind of more spread sets, much like North Carolina had success doing a week ago. I think you get into some of these traditional alignments formationally for BC offensively. I think that kind of plays into the hand of Virginia Tech defensively.
You see BC coming out running the ball initially anyway. We'll see if that goes back to the passing attack, which has been so effective for Boston College. And here's the quarterback to throw, and the first one that he throws tonight is indeed to the tight end and complete to Hunter Long, who picks up 9 yards on that completion. You know, he's already called in 32 receptions, Tim. He leads the nation in receptions by a tight end now with those 32.
And he's got a great feel in the passing game, Dave. Just good job using his body versus man and understanding zones when he gets zone coverage.
Jurkovec to throw again, but well defended this time and deflected away by Brian Murray, who is another guy back in their lineup in the secondary, intended for Hunter Long.
Yeah, you know, Dave, you mentioned Long and how many, receptions already this year. 31 coming into the season. Obviously had that one on 3rd down. He just is a really good player. Obviously a big history of good tight ends at Boston College, and he's kind of continuing with that tradition. He's an all-around player too, and I think a much better blocker than he's probably been given credit for being.
Under-recruited, to put it mildly, but he's developing into a star at BC. 2nd down and 10. Jurkovec to roll a bit. He'll fire, and that one complete to Flowers. Trying to get to the 50-yard line. He'll be short of that. That's his #1 target, Zay Flowers, who's averaging 32 yards per catch. This one goes for 8.
Averaging 32 yards per catch. It means you need to get him the ball more. And that's why we asked Frank Cignetti, the offensive coordinator for BC, how many touches would you like Zay Flowers to have? And he thought, hey, at least 8, at least 2 a quarter, right? And that play right there, basically a design touch for Zay Flowers in the flat.
Well, he has flourished in this new pro-style offense, and a very effective attack for the Eagles. 3rd down and 1. Handoff here for Bailey again, trying to get to the 1st down marker. But Tisdale able to reach him, but he did get the 1st down. Tisdale with the tackle, but a 1st down for Boston College.
And I would expect to see a fair amount of David Bailey and Tisdale kind of meeting around the line of scrimmage. Tisdale, probably the most physically gifted linebacker for Virginia Tech, and Bailey obviously kind of nearly a clone of A.J. Dillon in terms of a big, powerful back.
1st and 10 for Jurkovec. He's going to hand off again. A little bit of room to operate there into the center of the line by Bailey, taken down by Jamari Connor, he'll get credit for the stop.
Dave, you mentioned that this Boston College offensive line, a pretty good one as well. You see them just sticking to their blocks, getting some movement, and nice job of David Bailey, who's not skinny, getting skinny to get north and south.
6 feet, 235 pounds. So 2nd down and 2 for BC. Cherkovic from Pittsburgh, PA, to hand off again, looking to run once again. Garwell on the loose up the middle, lost the football, he fumbled it, and the Hokies have it. Boston College coughs it up, and the Virginia Tech defense pouncing on it. And take a look at the replay.
You see, it's just a nice job of punching at the football. I mean, it looks like Devin Taylor kind of punching at the ball at the end of this run here, and it's going to be a nice pickup by Garwell, but right there, that punch by Devin Taylor gets the ball out, and that's well done, that's well coached. It's exactly what you want to do as a back is trying to fight for extra yards.
So an immediate turnover, and that means that Hendon Hooker will take over on the offense here for Virginia Tech. Getting back in as the starting quarterback after missing the first couple of weeks. And he will hand off immediately in a run to the right. And a nice gain, and that play will go for 10 yards. We're talking about Hendon Hooker now, the dual threat quarterback who was not in action the first 2 weeks of the season, but he took over last week in the Carolina loss. He threw 2 touchdown passes, and he also ran for 1, so he can beat you several different ways. And he also has a very dangerous tight end in James Mitchell, who just carried for the first down there. And a handoff with a flag down. So flag on the play, 10:22 to go in the first.
Ball start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So first down and 15 coming up. Well, the Hokies coming in at 2-1 after an action-packed defeat at North Carolina, 56-45 last weekend. And here's Hooker. Hooker off to the races, nearly tripped up, stays on his feet, and across to the 40-yard line before he steps out. And a scintillating run that goes for 30 yards.
Well, Dave, you introduced him as a dual-threat quarterback, and that's exactly what he is. He's probably the best passer of the group of quarterbacks for Virginia Tech, but they just faked this jet sweep to Trey Turner. That gets the defense coming up the field, and then there's that dual-threat ability from Hendon Hooker as he gets vertical, and then you see the speed in the open field.
So on 1st and 10, he's going to fire this one short to Turner. Trey Turner into the flat. He's going to lose 2 on that. Stopped by Josh Dabari.
Just to continue on Hendon Hooker, you know, you referenced kind of the start. He was going to be the starter for the opener, and then the opener gets delayed, and then by the time they start their season, he's not the starter, and that's frustrating. But I think it's also made him appreciate having this starting spot once again.
Going to hand off to Herbert as he gets the carry, trying the right side. He has certainly been the workhorse for this offense, leading the nation in all-purpose yards and rushing yards per game. Just about 150 yards per game, Tim.
It's incredible, you know, and I think that, you know, he obviously has the attention of college football, but talking to the BC defenders, you know, they had seen him as a player from Kansas, and they know what kind of damage he can do on the ground.
No, Kansas, he had a field day against Boston College just last year. 3rd down and 10. Herbert again in the backfield, along with Hooker, who's going to look to throw. trying to step up all sorts of pressure. Got free again, still on his feet across the 40 and tripped up shy of the 35-yard line. They have been unable to bring him down on first contact. Barlow finally made the stop.
He does, and BC decided to heat Hendon Hooker up. They get there with the blitz and really should get him down right away, but it's a nice job of Hooker trying to extend the play, getting away from Hughes, the safety, but then that BC defense able to rally and get to Hooker.
Well, so many positives with Hendon Hooker, but one of them is he just doesn't turn the football over. 6 wins as a starter last year. He threw 10 touchdowns with no interceptions. So we have a timeout with 7.
Their mind on that, and I do think that Johnson has the leg, so probably not a terrible decision.
Well, he's been outstanding, Brian Johnson. This will be for 53 yards. He owns a streak of 17 consecutive made field goals. This goes back to last year. He's actually been one of the best in the country. And this kick is up, an early attempt, and this kick is no good. So that's the end of that streak, which had been the longest in the Power 5. He had nailed a 55-yarder against Carolina last week, but not this time.
And when you attempt a long field goal, you need a clean operation, and this was not. It was a low snap. The holder had to trap it and gets it down, and when you do that, obviously it shakes the confidence of the kicker approaching the ball, and this one just gets pushed away. And so now the decision to run the kicking team out there kind of backfiring for Virginia Tech.
I'm sure it feels that way right now to Justin Fuente. His 5th year as the head coach at Virginia Tech. So BC will take over, first down and 10. Decent field position here at around the 35-yard line. Jurkovec back to throw, looking downfield. Throws long, and he has his man, C.J. Lewis, complete as he is taken down after big gain and an easy first down. This goes for 36.
This is basically a Kyle Shanahan design play, kind of stolen from Frank Cinetti. Hard play action. They're going to run Lewis at the top of the screen, almost on a shallow cross, and then he's going to get up the sideline on the bottom of your screen here, and then the coverage just runs with Zay Flowers and everyone else running deep. That's a really, really well, designed play and an excellent job of executing by this BC offense.
Lewis, a New England kid out of Hamden, Connecticut. First and 10. And Bailey breaks free, found a nice hole, finally knocked off his feet. But a big gainer for the Eagles, stopped by Chamari Connor, but not before a 12-yard pickup.
Dave, I said it earlier. It's a little bit what I was meaning when I said spread formations. You're in the shotgun, you're in trips. You kind of, some of these runs that we saw North Carolina have success with a week ago, BC kind of picking up where North Carolina left off.
Jurkovec under center. A little bit of problems there, and it's down on the deck again, and another fumble recovery by Virginia Tech. 2 of those already here in the first quarter by Boston College. Alan Tisdale scoops it up.
And this was a disaster from the start. And BC, who've done such a good job of taking care of the football early in this one, coughed it.
That is tough enough duty, but he has to be very, very happy with what's happened here in the first quarter, forcing a pair of turnovers, Tim.
Oh, absolutely. One punched out, one a mistake by the offense, but 2 takeaways early. It's always going to make him happy.
Herbert again, pushing ahead and dragging bodies with him. Khalil Herbert, a workhorse indeed, finally stopped by Richardson and by McDuffie, but not before a first down pickup, 14 yards.
And again, we talk about offensive line play. How about the push, Dave, that Virginia Tech just got on that run by Khalil Herbert?
So the juice is loose early. He's averaging 10.4 yards per carry to lead FBS. I think a lot more commentators should be talking about his averaging 246 all-purpose yards per game. He's not getting enough love nationally. He'll get another carry. He's going to bounce outside. Keep on moving out of bounds.
And Dave, talk about, getting enough love. It's plays like this. This is the running back here. This is an inside run. Look at the vision, the ability to bounce it. And then, oh, by the way, the speed. That's getting to the corner, making a defender miss in the open field. I've been really impressed with this kid. He just is an all-around back, and I think that I kind of came into the season thinking he was a power back, but he has more than enough speed.
13 yards on that one. First down and 10. Hooker again has time to throw. Kind of a wobbly toss, but it's caught by Robinson. Tavian Robinson as Palmer stuck him, but he picks up 20.
This is a really well-designed play by Virginia Tech here. They're going to fake the little pitch to the bottom of the screen here, and then they're going to run two receivers vertical on a switch release, and you see the bind that puts the near safety in, and it's a good job of playing on time by Hendon Hooker and getting the ball to his receiver in time.
Another first down here for the Hokies. Raheem Blackshear in the backfield with him now. Expect him to get some touches in this game. That one fired into the flat, and a completed pass to Turner again, who's been an early target. Big play Trey, they call him. He had a scintillating 57-yard touchdown run against Wake Forest last year. That gains 10.
I think he's the guy that's going to benefit the most from having Hendon Hooker in the lineup full time. Hooker, the best passer of the group, as I said before. And I think just the consistency in the passing game is going to lead to more opportunities for Trey Turner.
4 straight plays of at least 10 yards here for the Hokies. Here's Turner on the run, and that streak is going to stop right there. It died pretty fast. Stopped by Sebastian, and they're going to lose 2 on that effort. Well, these two schools met twice in the ACC championship game in 07 and 08. The Hokies won both of those games. One of the more memorable victories in BC history came in 07. Matt Ryan was outstanding in the fourth quarter, led them from 10-0 down to win the ball game 14-10. Hooker, and on they are all over him as he goes down very quickly. That's going to be a loss of 3. Jason Maitre, the man to reach him and take him down.
And Tim Lukabu, the defense coordinator for BC, times up a blitz perfectly. This ball probably should be handed off. It's an RPO that fools Hendon Hooker, and that's why Maitre is able to run into the backfield untouched for the sack on Hendon Hooker. That's a well-timed blitz by the BC defense and well-timed call by the defensive coordinator.
So it brings up 3rd down and 14 for the Hokies. And Hooker. Short pass, and that one complete to Smith. Will take a hit. Caleb Smith with the reception. They got 7 of those back. Got some help from DeBerry as well out of the corner spot.
You know, it's plays like that, Dave, where BC, I feel like, struggled in the pass. A throw underneath on 3rd and long, but is your secondary fast enough to recover and make the tackle? And I think BC's secondary, that's where I've probably seen the biggest improvement. They do look fast enough, and they are making those plays, and DeBerry comes up with a big tackle there, which leads to a field goal attempt.
Johnson from 42 yards, just missed from 53 earlier, but this one is absolutely dead on. And a 3-0 advantage here in the first quarter for the Hokies. It's the Huddle next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on ACC Network. Dave O'Brien along with Tim Hasselbeck. Katie George right there at Lane Stadium, which Tim will tell you is the loudest place he ever played in. Gill to take the kick across the 20-yard line, and he scampers out of bounds. We take a look now at our big blow moment of tonight's game.
There've been a couple of them, and they've been on the defensive side of the ball for Virginia Tech. Just an excellent job of Devin Taylor punching at the football, and then a play that never had a chance from the start as Hunter Long runs into Phil Dracovic, and then the quarterback makes a bad play worse by trying to pitch the football to the back. Alan Tisdale there to recover it, and so now Boston College have done a good job of taking care of the football. As you see, 3 turnovers coming into tonight, but already 2 this evening.
Yeah, 4 offensive snaps, 2 fumbles. BC extremely sloppy in the early moments. This one's going to be complete to Flowers. He's going to be dragged backward. Zay Flowers, certainly a big play receiver, but nowhere to hide there as he is dumped for a loss.
You know, this Virginia Tech secondary was really depleted a week ago, and we've kind of touched on having some of the players back in the lineup, Diablo being one of them, the communicator in that back end. And on plays like that, where it's essentially a sweep to a wide receiver, throwing it to him on the perimeter, just so helpful to have some experience in the back end.
Jurkovec still scrambling. He'll toss this one, and it's going to be a completed pass. And that'll be for Galloway. He'll pick up 30 yards. And you talk about buying time, Tim.
Yeah, I think this is where he's most dangerous. That Jurkovec does a good job of buying time, directing traffic, as you see him pointing to Galloway to head upfield, and just a nice job of feeling it. I feel like the game slows down for him a little bit on some of these broken plays, you know, backyard football, if you will, and he's excelled so far in this BC offense when that happens.
Well, the Eagles came out running, made sense because Virginia Tech was really crushed by the running game in North Carolina last week. Going to run it again here. This time it's Bailey again. Not much, right into the center of the line. You know, Virginia Tech allowed 399 rushing yards last week. And BC wanting to run early in this one, but the Hokies in front 3-0 after our first quarter trends now. And again, it's only 3-0. And how about this? There were 11 first downs by the two teams combined. No punts, 228 total yards, 3 plays of 30 yards or more, and only 3 points in the first quarter as Flowers is shoved out of bounds. So kind of amazing. And Tim, it absolutely flew by. I don't know about you. That's the quickest first quarter I've seen this season.
It did fly by, and you know, the quarterbacks both been pretty clean so far, you know, but for one mistake on a handoff by Jurkovec. And usually when that happens, it means more points, Dave, but I have a feeling they're coming.
Each team is averaging 8.5 yards per play. First down and 10 for Boston College. And a little toss sweep here to Levy. Gets some room on the outside across the 40-yard line before he takes a hit. He picks up 6.
Levy's an interesting back for Boston College because he's kind of a different size. He's got a little more speed and shiftiness, and you know, when he's in the game, I would expect more perimeter runs like we saw there.
He can catch passes too. Outstanding kick return man. He can do a little bit of everything. Fake on the handoff. Jurkovec with the completed pass to Gill. Went down to dig that one out, and that'll pick up 12 yards for BC.
This is a really nice job by Jurkovec here. You know, he does a good job in these kind of hard play action situations, coming up and locating the defense down the field after the fake.
Well, against North Carolina, he was 37 for 56. Matt Ryan has the school record, 40 completions in a game in 06, so he came close. He's going to roll and pass, and off the fingertips of Flowers, and incomplete for the Eagles. Chapman there on the coverage for the Hokies. Remembering, of course, that Virginia Tech attempted to open the season 3 different times and finally did so on September 26th as they beat NC State after 2 COVID cancellations. And coming in with a 2-1 record, Boston College a surprising 3-1 off the victory against Pitt in overtime and put a serious scare into North Carolina, losing 26-22. Jurkovec again with some play action, looking to pass it and fires that one complete. Actually going to be incomplete. Gill did not get to it, covered by Murray, and incomplete near the sideline.
It's actually a really nice job by Phil Jurkovec here. He's trying to get Hunter Long down the seam. He comes off of it and goes out to Gill, who really has a one-on-one matchup. That's a nice defensive play. You're getting your hand in there by Murray, the defensive back driving on the football. You know, they're happy to have him back with Jermaine Waller out. getting Murray back in the lineup, I think, is one of the things that gave Justin Fuente a little more confidence in how his secondary would fare in this contest.
3rd down and 10 for BC. Out of the shotgun. Cherkovic fires to the flat. Flowers with the catch, took the hit, now still dancing. He's off to the races. He is into the end zone for a touchdown. And a spectacular play after the reception.
Well, that's how you earn the nickname Big Play Zay. This has got to have its situation on 3rd and down. It's a really impressive throw, almost a far hash throw on an outbreaking route right into the chest.
Now they're going to take a look to see if he may have stepped out before making that fantastic move. 26 yards on 3rd and 10 and made 17 yards after the hit. We're going to take a break and we'll be back with a closer look on this to see if it will hold up as a touchdown. Look at that toe. So very close for Zay Flowers. We'll see if he'll return the touchdown. And said he stepped out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Take a look.
I think this is the right call as he makes contact with the defender here. I think that toes of his right foot are out of bounds there. Still doesn't minimize the effort. But I think this is the right decision here too. 4th down. They've been a big quarterback sneak team. I would not be surprised to see them use their big offensive line to fire off the ball and their big quarterback to just try to sneak this.
Offensive line has been outstanding. And he will keep it. And straight ahead, he's going to get it. Cherkovic, he'll pick up 3, more than enough for the 1st down for BC.
And the reason I say that is that they ran a quarterback sneak from the 2-yard line against Pittsburgh. You almost never see that, and they've done it a few times. And I think with that offensive line, the big, strong quarterback, and I think in this environment, Jeff Hafley saying, hey, let's be loose, let's have fun, let's play free, fearless. Well, that's fearless.
And Jeff Hafley has people talking in Boston about Boston College football. That's not a regular occurrence. It's Bailey again as he continues to drive ahead on first contact, just not going down. Tisdale eventually will bring him down, but not before he gains 7. And Tim, as you know as well as anybody, Boston's a pro sports town. With the Patriots and the Celtics and the Bruins and the Red Sox, but there's an opening for this program. They're exciting right now. They're recruiting the heck out of it at the moment.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Jeff Hafley has created a buzz, and it has gotten the attention of people in the area. And even in this time where you can't have fans in the stands and where you're not seeing people on campus, he's done an excellent job engaging the community. And I think, listen, whether it's because the city wasn't big enough for both Brady and Jeff Hafley, he's at least capitalizing on the fact that people are paying attention to his program. And they've been fun to watch too, Dave. I mean, they've had these close games, and so I think that that's also been an element of it, is they've been more exciting on both sides of the ball.
And he's got a good sense of humor. He's the man who said that. I guess the town wasn't big enough for me and Brady. One of us had to go. And Hafley doing a really good job with this program in his first year. 3rd down and 8 for Boston College, trailing 3-0 on the road here in Blacksburg tonight. Cherkovic back to throw over the middle, and that one caught. Completed pass and scrambling into the end zone. Gill for the touchdown. So eventually they do get 6. And this time it's Jalen Gill to the end zone for the first time this season from 12 yards.
Well, Hunter Long is the tight end on the bottom of the screen here, and he's going to run a corner route, and he gets all types of attention. And as he gets that attention, as he is running to the corner, Gill just sits down right there in that zone, and then it does a good job of running after the catch and getting vertical. And Boston College really is looking for another receiver outside of Zay Flowers to step up, and Jalen Gill appears to be the guy ready to do that. but something tells me if any program could do it, maybe it would be Clemson. But what a performance, my goodness, by Clemson.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, 5 touchdowns. I'm not sure he touched the ball in the second half. Outstanding again. And a big return up near the 50-yard line by King. Keyshawn King, 27 yards running it back. Great field position here for the Hokies.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the decision on that. You know, we've seen it, actually saw it earlier today. Wake Forest was able to recover kind of a sky kick like that, but Virginia Tech, who obviously is known for incredible special teams, it's kind of a marker of their program, ready for it, and King does a good job of fielding it. Now you get the ball in plus territory.
BC coming off a touchdown drive on top here, 7-3, and on the run it's punching outside. Hooker still on his feet across the 20-yard line with a terrific sprint, finally dragged down by Jones, but he gains 31.
And again, the quarterback as the runner, just so hard to defend. You see the backside end close down to zone read, and then look at the speed, you know, splitting defenders. And now, you know, Hendon Hooker has got 2 carries for 30 yards. Would not be surprised if Virginia Tech continues to find ways to have him, you know, have the ability to have the option to keep it as a runner.
So immediately into the red zone here for the Hokies, down 7-3 with the tight end Gallo in motion. And Hooker's going to roll and fire, and that one complete, caught by Smith. And that'll be a gain of 6 yards for the Hokies. So they pick up the first down and 10. The Hokies have scored at least 30 points in 5 consecutive games dating back to last year. They got 45 against NC State, 38 at Duke, 45 at Chapel Hill in a losing effort. And a handoff for Herbert. Tries the center of the line. Looking to pick up that first. And he'll gain 5.
This is kind of a missed opportunity here by Virginia Tech. Look, they line up. Blackshear's in the slot. BC doesn't even know that they've got to cover him. But Virginia Tech ends up running a play. They motion him back into the formation and kind of run into a loaded box. They're fortunate they're able to get positive yardage on that. But when you see that as a quarterback, you got to have some type of automatic to just spit the ball out to an uncovered receiver.
So 1st and goal for the Hokies. Hooker is going to run it. Drive to the end zone, and he gets there inside the pylon for a touchdown. Well, that drive was all on him. He punches it in from 7 yards out to get the score. And are they ever happy to have him back as the starting quarterback after the time he missed? Outstanding on that drive.
He really was outstanding. His ability as a runner, made a couple throws as well, but it's just a quarterback sweep. You know, no different than you would do with a tailback, but you have the tailback leading up on Sebastian, the secondary player for Boston College, and good power to finish the run by Hendon Hooker as he punches it in.
So the Hokies now on top 10-7 with 8:53 to go in the second quarter. And Hendon Hooker, now his first score for the Hokies 2 years ago was a 69-yard touchdown run. He can really break your back there with those legs. Getting a touchdown here as we go to Katie.
Well, guys, it's been an emotional couple of weeks for Hendon Hooker. Prior to being cleared to resume all football activities, he was hospitalized as doctors conducted further tests related to COVID-19. He said it was a nerve-wracking experience because doctors didn't know if he'd play football again. As scared as he was in the hospital with his parents, Hooker took out a piece of paper and wrote a poem titled "The Promise to the Game." If cleared to play, he promised he put the game first, only behind God, family, and school. He shared the poem with his mom, Wendy, who of course teared up as she read the words. He said it was a moment of perspective. It showed him how fast life can change, and yet with so much support around him, he remained positive and upbeat. And after many prayers, all tests checked out, and he was given the green light to play this season, which has been a relief to so many.
And tonight, he's 6 for 6 throwing the football and rushing 69 yards and now a touchdown. He's proving to be quite a handful here for Boston College. And I'm going to run this one. It's going to be Gill Off the kickoff, but does not get back to the 20-yard line. A return of 17. Jurkovec and the Eagles now trying to answer. They had a lot of trouble hanging on to the football in the first quarter with 2 fumbles to kill drives. And now trailing by 3 as they start this one.
It's kind of uncharacteristic of BC when you look at how this season has gone. I mean, we pointed it out earlier. They've done such a good job of avoiding turnovers. And they're kind of fortunate, Dave, to be in this situation, turning it over twice and only being down 3 points with a lot of football left to play in the first half.
That's right. 2 times and on the road. And think about if this place were packed, as you've talked about, Lane, in the past, I mean, you couldn't hear yourself think.
You couldn't at all. You said earlier, the loudest place I ever played. It seemed like the band was right on top of you. The music was playing. And, you know, playing this Virginia Tech team, you know, with, you know, roughly 1,000 people in the stands, a totally different experience.
A short pass, but incomplete by Jurkovec, and that one intended for C.J. Lewis, but incomplete. Brings up 2nd down and 10. Yeah, there's all of that, and of course those the amazing Bud Foster defenses. You know, they came after the quarterback like nobody's business, as you know.
Yeah, they would do an excellent job bringing Ford to the side, basically overload blitzes. They have so much speed, you know, kind of a hallmark. And then, you know, I mentioned the special teams. So coming into Blacksburg and finding a way, you know, to get a victory has always been hard.
Hand off here to Levy, but not a lot of room to operate there as they stack him up. Hewitt, the first man to meet him, he's only going to pick up 1 yard on that carry.
Speaking of just kind of Virginia Tech and history, and Hewitt is basically, like, he's the prototypical Virginia Tech defensive lineman. He's a 5th-year guy, just tough, hard-nosed, and as we look at Kyle Hamilton, Justin Hamilton, the new defensive coordinator for Virginia Tech, you know, it's a different look, some of the same schemes, you know, players that were in this Bud Foster system now playing for Hamilton.
3rd down 9, Jurkovec to roll and pass. And going to get it to the tight end for the completion. Hunter Long, who's been pretty quiet for a guy who came in with so many receptions and leading the country as a tight end with 32 of them.
Yeah, and he just does a nice job of working with his quarterback. The quarterback escapes outside the pocket, is in trouble. Find him and go work for him, which is exactly what Long does there, as he works with his quarterback to the sideline. And Dave, guys like Hunter, you know, Long do a good job of even when the play breaks down, it's not designed, you know, doesn't go the way it was designed, of just continuing to have a great feel for playing football and finding that open area.
Well, the only D1 offer that he had was from Boston College. Now he's making a bid for all ACC honors and a timeout.
Timeout, Boston College.
BC takes one here with 7:18 to go in the half. And number 20 and number 5 Notre Dame in volleyball at 3:30. Virginia and Virginia Tech. That is volleyball to cap the evening. 1st down and 10 here for Boston College on the drive. Jurkovec, the quarterback, will take this one across the 50-yard line as he scampers out of bounds. But a solid gain of 11 yards and another 1st down.
And this is a nice job on the zone read. Jurkovec's going to keep it, but I want you to watch Hunter Long, who scrapes across the formation, and then look at him block in space. And that's on Diablo, who's a really good player. It's plays like that, you know, I've let Jeff Hafley to tell us that he thinks Hunter Long's that type of player that's going to play in the NFL for 12 years. I mean, just an all-around guy. Can block, can run passes, or run routes and catch passes. Really good player.
Another 1st down for the Eagles on play action. Jurkovec throwing long this time. That's going to be picked off. Intercepted by the Hokies. Devin Taylor on the run and down the sideline,
The field
and whistles.
Is an interception. 1st down.
I'm going to see if his knee was down way back there, but an interception.
Clearly an interception, clearly the knee down, and Devin Taylor has come up with 2 really big plays tonight. The punch out on the first fumble by Bailey, and then this one here, just a bad decision and throw by Dracovic. And I'm not really sure what Dracovic is thinking here. He's trying to hit the deep over route. Corner's going to fall off of it. I think it's just a bad throw. I mean, I think, he's trying to put some touch on it and drop it down, but I think it's got to be a firmer throw right to the face mask of the receiver running the deep cross.
Boy, another turnover. Hooker to fire. And this one going to be caught and complete to Robinson. 3 big turnovers already, and 2 of them involving the BC quarterback.
Yeah, and both of them on him. Every interception or turnover has its own story. That's a Peyton Manning quote, but the story on these are, the first one is don't make a bad situation worse, which is what he did, and then that one is a bad throw.
Herbert again on the carry here for the Hokies, stopped by Max Richardson, a 5-yard pickup for Virginia Tech as they seek their 3rd win of the season. So a 5-yard gain. 5:50 to go before halftime here in Blacksburg. Hooker again will take it and lost the football. He had hit the deck. He had been down already. Hooker so dangerous there, but he'll gain 5.
And I think what Virginia Tech is doing, they're seeing Boston College in some man coverage situations, and they're deciding that they're going to get to some option plays or design quarterback runs when that's the case. That ball is, the Hooker is clearly down when that ball comes out. And I think Virginia Tech's doing a good job of identifying what BC is doing and then getting to some of these quarterback runs.
Here's Robinson with the end around, and finally out he goes before a healthy gain there. So a little trickery here for the Hokies, and that'll gain 12 yards.
And I think that this, not only is a little trickery with the reverse, but I think there was going to be a pass option off of this. In fact, I know there was, as Robinson looked like he was trying to re-grip that football. It wasn't there, and so it was a good decision just to hold on to it and run for the first down.
So 1st and 10 for the Hokies. Hooker's got him moving again. Khalil Herbert finds a hole. He created one there before bouncing outside.
When you say he created it, he certainly did, Dave. You look at what Herbert does here. Look at the patience as he gets up the field, and then watch him just explode out of it. And, Max Richardson, who's made a lot of plays for Boston College defensively, kind of finds himself in the open space with Herbert, and Herbert's able to get around him.
Herbert again leading the nation in all-purpose yards and rushing yards per game at about 150. Just gained 10 there as he steps out. Under 4 minutes to go here in the 2nd quarter. And the Hokies looking to really take command of the game. They're on top 10-7. Hooker again with another handoff. This time it's Blackshear. Head coach Justin Fuente has called him maybe the best athlete on the field any given day for either team.
Which is really interesting because we haven't really seen him emerge in this offense. He's a transfer from Rutgers. He's a really versatile player. He can play in the slot. He's obviously a capable running back. But, he kind of just, like a lot of guys, have been out because of the contact tracing and things of that nature. And so working him into the system has taken a little bit longer than I think anticipated.
2nd down and 7 for Virginia Tech with a 3-point advantage. And a timeout.
Virginia Tech.
Hokies take one here with 2:59 to go in the 2nd quarter.
For 7 with 60 yards. He's also rushed for 74 yards and a touchdown. He's been fantastic.
Back to throw, throwing short into the flat and complete to Herbert. Moving across the 10-yard line, taking it all the way in for a touchdown. The Hokies strike again. What a beautiful play. Great design. Herbert from 29 yards rumbles in for the Hokies.
It is a great design. It's a slow screen that they're going to throw back to Herbert. We've raved about him as a runner. Well, how about a runner off of the screen game? It's a really, really good job, and it's an excellent job of the guys up front. I want you to watch 77, the left tackle, Darisaw. He's got an NFL future, but watch the job he does on Max Richardson. Gets him once, stays with him again, gets him a third time as Khalil Herbert is able to walk into the end zone.
Couple of great blocks there. 7 plays, 74 yards, and a touchdown on the screen. Herbert from 29 yards out to make it 17-7.
Yeah, and the sudden change has been tough for this BC defense. They go with the screen, as you see Darisaw working, and good patience and job of setting it up by Herbert. And, you know, BC, 3 turnovers, leads to points. You know, for this Virginia Tech offense, and I think the only silver lining for BC at this point is you have just under 3 minutes left in the first half to respond. But how about Khalil Herbert? You know, just not going to go to his rushing total, but man, his versatility on top of the speed and power and vision has been so impressive to see.
Adds to that all-purpose yardage, of course, where he leads the country. 246 yards per game, all-purpose yards. And he is a workhorse, having a standout season, and Virginia Tech leads it 17-7. So kicking off here with just under 3 minutes to go, and right at the goal line, it's Levy trying to take it out across the 20-yard line before he's bottled up. So 2:41 left in the half. Jurkovec has had his issues. You know, the turnovers have been a huge part of it. And that's such a blessing for Virginia Tech under Hooker. He just doesn't turn the football over. He doesn't make mistakes.
He said possession is sacred. That's what he said, and it hasn't been for BC. And I think this is an interesting drive for Phil Jurkovec, because you know, this coaching staff for Boston College has talked about being fearless, being okay with mistakes, and you know, being confident when you go back out there. Let's see if that translates to how the quarterback plays after a critical error.
He's going to look to throw immediately here on first down, and fires short. That one to Lewis as he is out. Driven out by Diablo, a gain of 8 yards to bring up second down here for the Eagles, trying to get on the scoreboard here before the end of the half on the road in Blacksburg. So that's one issue, getting into the end zone again. Another is just stopping Virginia Tech. They're averaging about 9 yards per play so far.
Which is, Dave, why this BC offense has to get it going, because you're going to have to score with Virginia Tech.
Jurkovec, and that one picked, but there were whistles before the pass. Flag down. 2:08 left in the second quarter.
False start. Offense, number 4. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So Flowers, certainly a big play guy, averaging 32 yards per reception, back in at the wide receiver spot for Boston College. Second down and 8 for BC. Jurkovec, time to throw, and fires that one, and complete. It's Flowers, his favorite target, and it's going to be incomplete. Juggled the football.
You know, and Zay Flowers runs a good comeback route. He's open. That ball is into his chest. Oh, he might have that.
Looked like it was between the knees.
Might be right. Let's see if it hits the ground. No. I think that's a catch.
Catch right between the kneecaps. So the play under review with 1:55 remaining.
Not the easiest way to do it, Dave, from my experience. I usually preferred when my receivers would would use their hands, take some of the mystery out of it.
You're a noted youth football coach, so this is not part of your drill. You know, we're going to catch it between the knees on this particular drill.
Well, it was a nice route. He's pushing vertical, throws on the brakes, comes back, and the ball's a little bit low, but it's one you like to see him just kind of corral in there, you know, into his chest, but kind of sneaks through, doesn't squeeze his elbows like you're coached to do, but does squeeze the knees.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed.
Confirmed. Not sure I see it the same.
Yeah, incomplete.
Did you see that hit the ground?
Did not.
Yeah, surprising.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe it wasn't controlled or possession as he was going out of bounds.
That had to be it, rolling out of bounds on the play. Chirkovic with pressure. Now they're on him. He's not going anywhere. And finally taken down, sacked on the play. I'll tell you who's having an outstanding first half is that young man, Amari Barno.
He sure is. And basically, Chirkovic just kind of finds himself holding the football with the pocket collapsing. You just see the pursuit to the football. That's a good job of Hewitt as well. And the nose tackle retracing his steps to the quarterback. But a lot of havoc caused in the back end there.
And timeout, Virginia Tech on 4th down and 15 after the sack. .147 to go. Certainly join us weekdays from 7 to 10 a.m. on the ACC network for Packer and Durham. Pull up a chair, as the boys like to say, right here on the ACC network, covering anything and everything inside the conference. And the best listen in all of college football when you're breaking down this conference and everything that's happened this weekend and continues to happen in the ACC, including this very important game, 4th down and 15. So BC to punt. First punt for either team in this contest. Robinson back on the back pedal. And that's where this drive will begin. So time to do a little more damage now for Hendon Hooker and Virginia Tech. Good punt, went for 49 yards.
It's a nice job of managing this situation by Justin Fuente. You know, call the timeout immediately after the sack. They actually went after that punt there, find themselves with really good field position, a timeout left, and a quarterback that's been flawless in this first half.
He has been flawless, and he has made some huge plays too. And he has a guy who's having an all ACC kind of a year in his backfield in Herbert, but he's going to step up and run with it. Got a couple of blocks too as he picks up the first down. Now Hooker's really been the star. He picks up 16 yards on that play. Flag is down. But a minute 33 left in the second quarter.
Offensive holding, number 54. 10-yard penalty, first down.
54 Smith is the left tackle here, and you know it's a little bit tricky. The quarterback takes off to run, the defensive line wants to react, and just got to let go, because I'm not sure that Hooker would have ended up being tackled in that situation. Kind of a tough break after a big play by Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, had picked up 16, erased that. It's going to hand off for Herbert. Bouncing outside again. And a slight gain there before he's tied up by Max Richardson. He'll gain 4 yards on the carry. And the clock at 1:22 before halftime. Hokies ranked number 23 in the country, trying to pick up their 3rd win of the season. Big development for them is the quarterback, Hendon Hooker, returning to prominence, which he really started to do last week with a couple of touchdown passes and ran for one in the loss against North Carolina, but he has been really sharp in this one as well. 2nd down and 15. Back to throw. Fires that one. It's broken up. And intended for Nick Gallo, the tight end, but busted up by McDuffie.
Hooker, who you pointed out, Dave, has just been so good with the football. Kind of gets fooled there. There's a zone pressure from Boston College, and it was a bit of a force. And if McDuffie was able to locate the football, he definitely was in a position to make a play on it.
It's the first time he has thrown an incomplete pass. 3rd down and 15 for the Hokies. Herbert finds a hole and darts right through it. Well, you made the point early. He is so much faster than people gave him credit for being, so much quicker in the center of that line.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of the things that when we had a chance to talk to Justin Fuente, we asked him, we said, I mean, he looks faster. We knew he had power. You called him a workhorse back, and he said, look, I even saw it standing on the sideline where you say, look, I knew he was fast, but maybe he even plays faster than I thought that he did, and we're seeing it for sure.
Just gained another 14. Final seconds of the first half here. Virginia Tech relying on their quarterback, Hendon Hooker, back in the fold. They missed him. He has played at times brilliantly here in the first half.
30-second charge timeout to Virginia Tech. That is their 3rd and final of the half.
So they take the timeout here with 28 seconds to go. Every Saturday at 10 a.m. you can join Jordan Cornette, Eric McLean, E.J. Manuel, and Mark Rick for a preview of the slate of games coming up in the ACC. The Huddle next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on ACC Network.
And I think those guys are sitting around right now saying they're not going for it up 10 on their own end. I know they're running the football well, but I think that in this situation, with 28 seconds left, and you think about risk reward, I think punting this football away to an offense that has struggled is the right decision. It looks like that's what Justin Fuente has decided to do.
An offense in Boston College that has struggled to hang on to the football. It's been a big surprise here. Obviously, you come to Blacksburg, turnovers are already a major fear against the defenses they've had over the years. Gill backing up. Now it'll go into the end zone. So just 20 seconds left before the break. And a punt for 57 yards. So a really fine job on special teams once again for Virginia Tech. Oscar Bradburn there. Brian Johnson has hit one. He's also missed one here in the first half. But you're always going to get fine special teams play out of the Hokies as well. They lead at 17-7. And again, 3 turnovers here in the first half for Boston College. They have been backbreakers. Jakovic throwing an interception and losing one for a fumble. Got a handoff here for Levy to the center of the line, but he is piled on. A stop by Rashard Ashby. We had a chance to chat with him this week. A very engaging young man who's having an outstanding season. So that is the first half, 17-7. Virginia Tech with a lead on Boston College. Oh, Hooker's been really terrific. 89 yards passing, 75 yards rushing for 2 total touchdowns. Herbert 68 yards. He had a 29-yard reception as well for a touchdown on a beautifully designed screenplay. And those turnovers have been a major part of the story, Tim, for the Eagles.
Yeah, the turnovers have been brutal. You lose the turnover battle, 3-0, 3-0, and you're only down 10 points. So your Boston College, it could be significantly worse. However, Virginia Tech does get the football to start the second half, and they've had a hard time stopping that run game.
Hokies trying to go to 3-1. Let's go now to Katie George with Coach Fuente.
Justin, your defense forces 3 turnovers. Devin Taylor is a part of 2 of those. What impressed you about the way your defense started this game?
Well, we found a way to get stops. I mean, it wasn't real pretty all the time, but we kept making them snap it again and then finding a way to get a couple turnovers, which have been big so far.
Offensively, you're averaging 9 yards per play. What started clicking for your offense in the second quarter?
Well, I think it's a running game. Anytime we can run the football, it helps feed everything else that we do. And we're playing against a very good defensive team, so it's going to be a tough second half. I know that.
Thanks for the time.
You bet.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. And after the break, we'll be back with halftime and Jordan Cornette, Eric McLean, and E.J. Manuel in the studio for the Hokies, who will have the football to begin the second half. BC to kick off. As we are underway here at Lane Stadium, about 1,000 folks allowed in. As Herbert's going to work it, takes a hit across the 20, dodge one man across the 30. Nobody has been able to bring him down on the first touch tonight. That goes for 31. Now the quarterback has been brilliant. Hendon Hooker. In the first half, he took over, Tim.
He has been brilliant. I mean, he was nearly flawless. One incompletion, and then just did such a good job running the football. Many of them, on plays where he had the option to also hand the football off. And, as a runner, we saw the speed. You see the power there as he finishes in the end zone. And, he was the presumed starter to start the season. It didn't work out that way. And now that he's back as the starting quarterback, you can see the impact that it's had on this Virginia Tech offense.
Last year, he had 6 wins as the starter through 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So BC can't rely on him to turn the ball over the way they have. And a handoff for Herbert trying to follow his blockers, and he's knocked back. Let's go to Katie George.
Well, guys, turnover, and he felt like that Virginia Tech was willing to slow them down, but then he said we let them off the hook by turning it over. He said we should have a lot of points right now, but he remained positive in the locker room with his young team. He had a lot of energy and a lot of fight in this next half.
Oh, he's got energy. He has that to burn. He's done a terrific job in his first year on the Hill. Boy, a couple of runs here early for Herbert. No place to hide. Bottled up by Marcus Valdez. He'll get credit for the stop, and that loses 2 yards.
Well, you mentioned Jeff Hafley's energy. He said that Marcus Valdez is an effort player. He also kind of pointed out Isaiah McDuffie, and they're bringing all kinds of energy. They're going to be aggressive, and I would not expect this BC defense to just sit around and wait. I would expect them to try to do things to disrupt this Virginia Tech run game, as we've seen on first and second down.
Well, they have to, don't they? Or this thing could spiral away from them in a hurry. 3rd down and 13 for the Hokies. Hooker back to throw. They get to him, but he escapes again. On the loose to the 40-yard line and scampers out of bounds. So that play looked like it was going to go absolutely nowhere. He made 7 yards.
Yeah, it was going to be a good start to the second half defensively for BC, but it's Hendon Hooker, the guy who was nearly flawless in the first half, does an excellent job of just having strength in the pocket as Roberts kind of is able to grab his shoulder a little bit, being strong through there as he climbs, and then Hendon Hooker once again using his legs to get up the field.
So the Hokies to punt. Jalen Gill to await that. And he's going to watch that one bounce. They're trying to save it around the goal line and able to keep this one around the 1-yard line. Well, special teams, special teams, special teams. You always talk about that when you talk about the Hokies, especially here in their home stadium.
It's one of the first things you think about, Dave. It's synonymous with this program. You think back to the Hooker scramble, kind of puts them in these situations, and that ball, appears it's tough with this angle.
On the field, the ruling on the field is a touchback. First down, 20-yard line.
Well, so the ruling on the field is a touchback, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
It was interesting. Seemed like there was some confusion because there was officials spotting the football inside the 5-yard line, But as you see that, it's clear that the ball crosses the plane. In college football is a touchback, and certainly a benefit to this offense for Boston College to not be backed up.
Well, turnovers have been such a giant factor here for the Eagles in the first half, with 3 of them, including 2 fumbles and the interception by Jurkovec. Bailey taking a handoff, and he is stopped after a pickup 2 yards to bring up 2nd down. Remember, Jurkovec is leading the ACC in passing yards at 295 per game. Under Frank Cignetti, the offensive coordinator, the former quarterback coach for the Green Bay Packers, also had that job with the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. Back to throw, and throwing short. That one caught by Levy. It could be very dangerous after the catch. He's going to be stopped on the play by Tisdale's had a really fine night.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 9. 15-yard penalty added on to the end of the run. First down.
Justice Reed coming off the bottom of your screen here, unblocked, as Vrabel, the right tackle, squeezes down. He's just too high on the quarterback. You're up that high on a quarterback. The officials are going to throw that flag, and that's a big break for Boston College. One of the things, when your offense is struggling a little bit to get jump started, sometimes it's a play like that gets you that first down in the second half to make you feel like you're starting to get in some type of rhythm offensively.
Well, they need that. First down and 10 for BC. Hand off for Levy. A little bit of a slip there and no place to hide. The Hokies get to him in a hurry. Belmar with a tackle, lost 3.
Belmar does a good job of getting some penetration here. See him coming off the right side of your screen, and as Levy tries to cut this one back, it's Ashby who's playing downhill, who likes to attack the run game, and then Belmar squeezing it from the backside.
2nd down, 13. Jurkovec in the pocket. Throws, and that one complete right at the 50-yard line. And caught by Gill. Another reception there for Jalen Gill, a sophomore out of Westerville, Ohio.
I said it earlier, I think if Gill can emerge a little bit in this passing game, kind of make BC much more difficult to defend, because you know what Hunter Long can do. You know that Zay Flowers is the big play guy, and so Gill, he can kind of work the middle a little bit more, be a little bit more reliable. Then all of a sudden it makes BC a little bit more dynamic offensively.
Well, picking up another first down. Here's Flowers trying to take it outside. Across the 50-yard line, and he goes out of bounds. Chased by Connor. You wonder now if you're going to look back at the roughing the passer as a very key play here in the second half. This one goes for 8 yards.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was referring to. Is the offense, it feels like, yeah, there was our first down. We just got it. And, handed to you by the defense. And when you look at plays like that, too, it's kind of one of those touches for Zay Flowers on the fly sweep. Kind of a gadget guy a year ago with the old coaching staff at Boston College. Jet sweeps, bubbles, things like that. This coaching staff views him as a much more complete wide receiver, but they'll still use him in that fashion.
2nd and 2. He wants to throw it. He puts it in the air, throwing deep, and it's going to be incomplete. Intended for Zay Flowers. He got drilled again on that play.
He did. This time it doesn't draw a flag, and it's Rashard Ashby, who, really known as a run defender, but he adds on as the running back is in pass protection. Then he does a good job with his pad level. And I can tell you right now, Phil Jurkovec felt that one from Ashby, who basically is like a Mack truck when he shows up to hit you.
He had an exceptional year last year. The linebacker named All ACC, and also 4 or 5 times he was a standout as another tangle in the middle of the line on a run by Bailey. He's going to pick up 3 yards on that run. And stopped eventually by Reed. So first down and 10. Boston College moving the chains here with 9.5 minutes to go in the third. Travis Levy again in the backfield as the running back for Boston College. Jurkovec under center. Play action. Throwing long again. Downfield and broken up beautifully by the Hokies. He had Flowers, the intended receiver, but busted up on the play.
And Flowers is running the post, and he does a good job of kind of using leverage. But this is Dorian Strong, true freshman. Just an excellent job in coverage, running with Zay Flowers, and then doing a good job with his left hand, getting it up there on that football. What a play by the true freshman, running with one of the faster players in the ACC.
Strong in the nick of time there. Second down 10. Jurkovec again to throw short this time, and that one is busted up. Going for his favorite target, Hunter Long, but not this time.
Well, the ball's a little bit low here, but Mari Connor, another player who, because of a targeting penalty, basically out last week, and having him back along with Diablo, changing the complexion of this defense, and does a nice job on Hunter Long.
Brings up 3rd and 10. Eagles need a big play out of their quarterback. He's going to step up and run it now. And it took a pretty good hit. Nearly lost it again, but he hung on to the football. And despite all of that, just 3 yards on the carry. So it brings up a 4th down and 7.
They kind of find themselves in no man's land here, and so even though it's longer than you would want it to be on 4th down, probably the only decision that Jeff Hafley has to keep his offense out on the field.
8:20 to go in the third. Jurkovec to throw once again. He fires and complete. And a catch made by Galloway. So he comes up big that time. Devin Taylor with the stop, but it picks up 16 yards.
It's a good job. But Jurkovec, he's trying to work Hunter Long, running an option route. He doesn't like it. That's why he was looking to his left. He comes off of it and finds Galloway coming from the other side. That is a really big-time play by the quarterback on 4th down.
First down and 10 for BC. Play action again. He'll roll right. Jurkovec throws and caught by his tight end. Long is still up, diving for the goal line. Lost the football, but he went down on a terrific second effort. And they're going to mark him short of the goal line.
It's a good football play all the way around as Hunter Long is trying to finish at the goal line. There's a chance that may be
the runner
crossed.
short of the goal line is under further review.
They're going to take a look. Possibility this could be overturned and ruled a touchdown for BC. 19 yards and an outstanding second effort there by Long. We'll take a break and be back with the ruling. This play under review when we return in just a moment. For 6, and the Eagles going for the extra point to get a little bit closer to Virginia Tech, and a flag down. But just a brilliant effort there by the tight end. Hunter Long for the 3rd time this season finding the end zone. And BC trying to make it 17-14 with the extra point.
Offside. Defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal line. Replay the try.
Jurkovic, Tim, made some terrific throws on that drive.
Really did. And
recap.
well, I mentioned it started with a late hit to the quarterback. They've got a little momentum going with this BC. Job of buying time, bit of a risky throw, but gets it to Hunter Long. And then a Hunter Long effort into the end zone that was just outstanding.
So makes it a 3-point game with 7 minutes to go here in the third at Blacksburg, Virginia. Last drive, 12 plays, 80 yards, and a touchdown, thanks to the tight end from Exeter, New Hampshire. Guy who is under-recruited, as we said, to put it mildly, despite the size, 6'5", 250. So the Hokies trying their attack now. It's Herbert trying to get outside at the 20-yard line. He's stacked up. That's where this drive will begin, a 17-yard return. So now Hendon Hooker, who's been terrific tonight in his own right, trying to get their offense going again.
And I would think the plan, Dave, is still the same. You know, it's probably a little bit disappointing for Justin Fuente to be in a situation where he's done such a good job with the turnover battle, only holding a 3-point lead, but I think it's still about Khalil Herbert in terms of where this offense runs through.
Virginia Tech has run it 21 times. They've thrown the ball 9 times. Going to run it again. It's Herbert once more, but not much this time as he is tripped up. Herbert leading the nation in all-purpose yardage. 3 straight 100-yard rushing games to start his Virginia Tech career.
You know, going back to the first game that we had of Virginia Tech, it seemed like Blackshear was the guy that was going to be the focus. And, you know, I think Herbert has just done such a good job of taking advantage of his opportunities.
As you've made the point several times, I mean, there's toughness, there's, you know, the savvy, you know, getting between the tackles, but it's the speed, the explosiveness, the jumps, especially when he gets some room to operate. He gets across the 30 and the 40-yard line. Down the line he goes, and finally taken down around the 20. A giant gain for 58 yards for Khalil Herbert.
Well, Dave, right on cue, you knew it was coming. They do a good job up front. Everybody moving left, just a zone blocking scheme, and Smith, the left guard, who was called for a hold earlier tonight, does an excellent job of sealing off his man, and Herbert puts that left foot in the ground and just able to get up the field.
Mike Palmer saving a touchdown with the tackle. First down and 10. Hooker will take it into the center of the line.
Hendon Hooker, the ball carrier.
Stopped by Brandon Barlow, but that's a gain of 4 for the quarterback. So the Hokies into the red zone, thanks to a giant run from Herbert. Coming up on 5 minutes to go in the third. Virginia Tech 220 rushing yards in this one. He's going to roll and keep on running. Could not get to the 10-yard line. Hooker is shoved out by Richardson. He got down to the 11.
It's a good job there, Dave, by Hendon Hooker. They're trying to get the football to their good tight end, James Mitchell, in the flat. And as Mitchell goes into the flat, Isaiah McDuffie decides to cover him and run with him. And because he does, that's what gives Hendon Hooker the perimeter. And it's just a good decision by the quarterback to keep the football.
3rd and 1. Trying to bounce outside here is Blackshear, but BC finds him. Max Richardson making that tackle. And a gain of 2, so they got enough. So pick up a first down here. And Hendon Hooker trying to get him in the end zone. You're talking about James Mitchell, the tight end. Not quite like BC, but the Hokies will hit the tight end. Mitchell is tied for the team lead with 10 catches. And they look for him in the end zone. A flag down. Flag here with 3:55 remaining in the third quarter.
Offside. Defense contact with the snapper. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And it's Ryan Betro, the nose tackle, number 94. So the Hokies trying to punch it in again. Virginia Tech has not thrown a pass in this quarter. He's going to keep it. Hooker darting into the end zone for a touchdown. Lightning quick. And oh, so dangerous. Hendon Hooker making his presence felt in his return as the starter in a big way tonight here against Boston College.
In a really big way, Dave. And he owes some love to the big guys up front. It's just a follow.
Gill, a short one at that.
Listen, this is brilliant special teams by Virginia Tech. You're kicking off from the 50-yard line. Rather than just launching it through the end zone for a touchback, you do this and force Boston College to return it. And now you make the tackle at about the 10-yard line. I guarantee you that Frank Beamer, who for so long did such a good job with special teams, is right now saying, well done. That is exactly how you do it after a personal foul penalty on the extra point.
So BC with a long drive coming if they're going to get in the end zone. And a pitch here for Levy trying to get outside. And a difficult time finding the edge there. And another fumble on the play. And Virginia Tech has come away with that. And I'll tell you what, Strong is having himself quite a night, Tim. Another outstanding play defensively as he jumped on the football.
It's an outstanding play, is right. And just look at this, backed up after the great special teams play. Looks like it's Jamari Connor. Again, retracing, forcing the play inside, retracing, punching at the football, and then it's Strong there to jump on it.
Fourth turnover for Boston College, and a huge one for the Hokies. They have the football.
It surpasses their total of turnovers on the season through 2.5 quarters. And it's hard to win in Blacksburg. It's really hard to win in Blacksburg when you keep turning the football over. But I think you have to credit this Virginia Tech defense because they're doing an excellent job of being opportunistic and punching at the football when the backs of Boston College have it.
Look at that, just 3 turnovers for BC in their first 4 games coming into Blacksburg. A lot of teams leave hurting with the turnovers against them, and there's Herbert again as he's going to move off the right side. Stopped by McDuffie, but not before he gains 7. And he's had another very productive night for the Hokies.
When you think about an offense, Dave, that runs the football as well as Virginia Tech runs the football, and you're just defending a field from inside the 20-yard line, it can also be really demoralizing to your own team's defense.
Mitchell in motion. And again, it'll be Herbert stacked up this time. So nothing doing there. He's going to gain just the 1 yard. So that'll bring up 2nd down and 3. We've not seen Hooker throw it very much at all in the second half. Only 3 times. So let's see what the Hokies come up with here on 3rd and 3. He's going to throw short and out of the hands of Herbert and incomplete. course, Virginia Tech is one of the better field goal kickers in the country. And Brian Johnson, he has missed one tonight.
And Dave, that should be a walk-in. It's kind of into that full house kind of formation. Look like they're going to have a quarterback run, and they sneak Herbert out into the flat. And with running backs, you throw the ball high and behind as they're trying to get to the perimeter. It makes it a hard catch for them and force to settle for this field goal.
Johnson, the senior from Washington, D.C. That's 28 yards and good. And the Hokies extend their lead to 27-14 over Boston College. So continuing to get some points off of the turnovers, but frankly, Boston College is very fortunate that this hasn't already turned into a runaway, aren't they?
For sure. I mean, talking about 13 points off of turnovers, and you just look at this game, it's what you're down. You're down 13 points. And so I think if you're Jeff Hafley, as bad as this has gone, I think your message for your football team is, guys, we could not have been doing this worse, you know, in terms of the turnovers. Now, if you're Virginia Tech who's about to go back out on defense, you're thinking, hey, listen, we've turned these guys over 4 times. Let's keep it going. Let's continue to get after them. And I will say this, and I referenced it before, Dave, playing in this stadium full of fans, I remember being in the huddle and having teammates not being able to hear me as I'm screaming in the huddle. That is one advantage that you do have in this environment, is that this place would normally be rocking in an environment like this.
You know that can drive a football team. Well, BC looking for an answer now. Levy with the fair catch. 2:09 to go here in the third. So we'll see if Jurkovec has some magic up his sleeve, like some other great quarterbacks that you speak to on a regular basis, like Doug Flutie, for example.
He did give me a nice correction. You cannot have possession with the legs, Dave, which is why that Zay Flowers reception was not a reception. And Doug not only a Heisman Trophy winner, but also really good at the rules.
And first down, he's back to throw. Jurkovec, good time in the pocket, and it's going to be incomplete. Intended for Gill, but could not make that connection.
Well, Gill's been a guy that's been featured quite a bit tonight, and that's on his hands. And you know, when you have a quarterback that's struggling, you do need the guys around him to kind of step up a little bit and make some plays, you know, that aren't necessarily spectacular, but certainly would help the quarterback out.
On second down, it's Flowers trying to cut back inside, but down he goes. Divine Diablo, who is back in the fold, and are they ever fortunate on the Hokies defensive side? That loses 2.
They sure are, and I think that's just experience, instincts, you know, field, you know, leadership. He really, really makes a difference in this secondary for Virginia Tech. It's like night and day from a week ago because of his communication back there.
Senior, he plays like one. We talked to him a couple of weeks ago. What a delight to spend some time with him via Zoom. Jurkovec again to throw. And that one complete to Levy. Levy out of bounds after the completed pass. And it'll gain him 7. So just about a minute to go in the quarter. 4th down and 4 for BC. So the quarterback coming off. And BC to punt again. Grant Carlson out of Missouri City, Texas, to try and launch this one. And Robinson will let that bounce before BC gets to that at the 35-yard line. That's a 34-yard kick. Hey, every Saturday at 10 a.m. you can join Jordan Cornette, Eric McLean, E.J. Manuel, and Mark Rick, our guys, for a preview of the slated games coming up. And man, they have all the angles. It's the Huddle next Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on ACC Network. So Virginia Tech on top 27-14 and getting the football back under Hendon Hooker. Going to hand off for Herbert. Herbert gets free, trying to cut outside, now inside, and finally stopped on the play by Max Richardson. A gain of 4 yards for the Hokies.
He just does such a good job of keeping things alive. Bottled up inside, good balance, good strength. And I'm always finding a way to fall forward. Been really impressed by him once again.
Herbert going over 100 yards for the 4th consecutive game, and he does it with flash too. He is one of the more fun running backs to watch. Not just 27-14 on this Saturday night, and really doing a great job rushing the football. 30 carries, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and they're going to keep on running it. Hooker this time keeping it. So they really have a two-headed monster when you're talking about those two guys, and Hooker and Herbert, Tim.
You're exactly right. You called him dual threat beginning of the broadcast, and it's exactly what he's been. In fact, he's been a better runner than passer tonight.
A flag here. Riley
After
Johnson.
the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 94 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
A frustrated Ryan Betros, second penalty on a nose tackle for BC.
You just can't have this. You're trying to fight your way back into a football game. You get blocked.
Oof.
And that's essentially, I mean, it's an open hand, but this is a right call by the official. You see why Jeff Hafley was so upset with him as he came to the sideline.
Hooker back to throw this time on the back pedal. And threw that one down around the feet. So brings up 2nd down and 10, incomplete. Well, Hooker, by the way, his first career 100-yard rushing game in this one.
And that's a little surprising because he has been so effective in the past, but it's interesting. I kind of feel like he's somewhat of a combination of Braxton Burmeister, the backup, and Quincy Patterson, the other backup quarterback. Both of those guys, Burmeister has the speed, Patterson has the power, but Hooker kind of has both and probably a better passer.
2nd and 10. Quarterback will keep it again.
Guys, for Hendon, playing quarterback was just kind of in his nature. His father, Alan, played the position in college and then for a short stint with the Cowboys. His mother, Wendy, has an unbelievable understanding of what the job entails. So from a young age, Hendon was raised to play quarterback. And he said his mom would coach him up by telling him different things to say or phrases to use when he was in the huddle to get his teammates going. He said with her help, he fell in love with the leadership role that comes with playing QB. From there, he was hooked. He said it was something he was taught to do from mom and dad, and then over time, it just became a part of who he is.
Isn't that very interesting, too, because his dad, as you mentioned, Kate, he was an outstanding player. He was a Hall of Famer at North Carolina A&T. But he talked so much about the relationship with his mother as being the driving force, probably more than anybody in his family. Family of outstanding athletes. Going to hand this one off. Nice hole opening up there that time for Blackshear. Blackshear cutting loose across the 10. He is into the end zone for a touchdown. A quick strike for the Hokies here early in the 4th. Kind of waiting on Raheem Blackshear to bust loose. Timothy did.
He did. They have been waiting on him and got a first opportunity here. It's another well-blocked run here. Do a good job of reading the defensive tackle on the zone read, and then just good job in the open space. They've talked about Blackshear having kind of that it factor, being versatile, being good in space, kind of a satellite player, and you can see how dangerous he is in the open field.
Now they're going to go for 2 here. Looking for a 2-point conversion. Up 33-14. With the tight end Gallo in motion. Hooker looking for the end zone, fires, and it's broken up. So the two-point conversion fails there. But they just Fuente, the head coach, putting an arm around Blacksburg. They're very, very fond of this young man, aren't they?
They really are, because he's such a versatile player, a smart player, and missed time. So basically was available with 1 day of practice before playing NC State, and then kind of dealt with a hamstring, groin issue after that game. And I think getting him back healthy, pairing him with Herbert is going to make this offense even more difficult to defend.
Been so tough tonight. Virginia Tech 5 runs of 20 yards or more already, including the last one, 28 yards by Blacksburg for the touchdown. To lead it 33-14. Well, a lot of work to do for the Boston College Eagles and their quarterback, Jurkovec, who set the BC record for the most touchdown passes and completions in a quarterback's first 4 games. That was coming into Blacksburg. Different story tonight for him. It's been one of frustration, ultimately flagged down, and 4 turnovers by the Eagles. That's out of character.
Encroachment. Offense number 86. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So that's on Gill, the wide receiver.
So it's interesting for BC. A couple of false start penalties by wide receivers, personal foul penalty by defensive linemen. Those types of mistakes are things that you're just not good enough to do it on the road against a good team like Virginia Tech.
First down 15, and a short toss, but incomplete. It's fascinating to me too, and I know it happens this way. It happens this way in all sports, but Jeff Hafley, the head coach for BC, we ran a bite of his talk to his team on Friday night and how excited he was to get out and play this game because he felt it had been such a great week of practice. They had been almost flawless in practice. Well, the games are a different story. We all know that. Jurkovec to throw on the run here, and he's got a receiver, and it's complete to Gill along that left side.
Well, listen, plays like this can make up for some mistakes, and he does a good job of being strong in the pocket. I said in the open, there's kind of some Big Ben elements. Well, there's one there, getting outside the pocket, moving to your left, and then an excellent throw down the field. That's hard, running to your left, and it's well done by the quarterback.
He's going to have to throw a lot here down the stretch. This one overthrown and incomplete. After the 43-yard completion moments ago.
Tim, Phil Jurkovec, he likes the Ben Roethlisberger comparison because he grew up a big Steelers fan in Pennsylvania and loves watching Big Ben play. But he says, hey, I want the record to show I weigh 230 pounds. He says he's heard 250, 260 thrown around, and he's not here for it. He wants people to know he's more trim than that.
Well, I would agree with him. I'm not going to put him in Big Ben's class in that regard, but his game has been like it oftentimes, and that is a big-time compliment.
Yeah, 6'5", about 230. We're not going to call him Little Phil. A diving effort, but incomplete. Intended for Bailey, the running back. So, 6'5", 226 is what he's listed at officially. And Big Ben 6'5", 240 officially.
And in fairness, when Ben was at Miami of Ohio, he was probably a little closer to 230.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah, listen, he hasn't been perfect tonight, Jurkovec, but remember, this guy really coming into the season hadn't played football in 2 years.
Now this one completed to Gill. Yeah, really, I mean, very little activity there at Notre Dame. Ultimately, frustration causing him to transfer. Pass play goes for 18 yards. 33-14 Virginia Tech here in the fourth. And got excellent protection on that last play, and now into the red zone. Flushed out to his right. And he will be taken down eventually on the scamper. And Jurkovec will pick up 5. So second down coming up.
too. Now I think with BC, they haven't necessarily been going at a fast pace, but this point in the game, how they're moving the football, I think tempo needs to be the story for BC's offense from here on out.
2nd down 5, running and firing and incomplete. And intended for Galloway, but they can't connect. So 3rd down coming.
I will say Boston College's offensive line is really, a pretty good offensive line. As you see Zion Johnson just get beat by Justice Reed, and he had a little bit of help from the back. I think you got to give some credit to this Virginia Tech front in terms of some of the pressure that they've been able to put on Djokovic just rushing forward.
And as we mentioned, getting the very talented free safety Divine Diablo back, the senior, has given the Tech defense a huge lift. 3rd and 5. Djokovic throwing over the middle, but incomplete. They wanted Zay Flowers again, but not this time.
Basically just trying to throw a short post to Zay Flowers here. Shallow cross by Hunter Long, and then coming into your screen is going to be Flowers. And if that ball is to his face mask and Djokovic knows it, it's a touchdown. I'm not sure what happened in terms of how it came out of his hand. Maybe just a little unsure of it, but that's a miss on 3rd down.
Well, 4th down and 5, and they are not deciding to bring on the field goal unit. He's going to throw it instead, and it's going to be broken up and almost intercepted. Devin Taylor getting a hand on it as he went for Galloway, but incomplete. So Virginia on the ground. Virginia Tech just flat getting it done, Tim.
It's incredible. We knew Herbert was going to be the guy, but Hendon Hooker pulling his weight as well.
Herbert again trying to center the line. He's going to gain 3 tough yards. 33-14 Hokies with about 11.5 to go. I mentioned earlier today, #1 Clemson destroying Georgia Tech 73-7. Trevor Lawrence 404 yards, 5 touchdowns. I don't believe he played in the second half. That was all in the first half. Notre Dame getting by Louisville 12-7. Louisville falling to 1-4 on the season after such a good year last year.
What a shock that has been. So many good players, good coaching staff. They've struggled that way.
Well, it's Hooker on the keep, getting to the 40-yard line. 2 or 3 times tonight they have been unable to find him on the BC side, and he has hammered away 22 yards here.
And it's just a decision as the defensive end squeezes down to keep the football. And it's kind of an escort run, meaning you've got a lead blocker and Gallo, the tight end, coming around there. And then it's Hooker doing a good job in the open space.
So the Hokies with 8 plays of 20 yards or more, and 6 of those have been rushing plays, where they've really hammered away at BC. Herbert with another carry. Max Richardson continues to have a really good night for Boston College, the team captain out of Duluth, Georgia. But not enough of them have shown up to stop the run like he has.
Well, we enjoyed talking to Max Richardson, really sharp guy and fun to talk to. And, you know, he knew he had his hands full. Talked about Herbert facing him when he was at Kansas. Talked about facing Blacksburg when he was at Rutgers. And they knew it was going to be a tall task with these running backs, but I'm not sure he knew Hooker was going to be such a good runner.
He has been an absolute handful. 2nd down 10. Steps up again before he goes down. And that'll lose 1 yard. And that clock running away, approaching the 9-minute mark here at Virginia Tech. Hokies trying to improve their record to 3-1. It could get on a nice roll too if they win this one tonight. Get Wake Forest coming up next week, then Louisville, then Liberty. before a challenging finish. Miami, Pitt, Clemson, and Virginia. Big rival. 3rd down 11. Hooker's going to throw it, has a wide receiver, and that one is going to be caught by Mitchell. Flag down on the play, but the tight end with his second grab tonight, 39 yards. But a flag down.
Offensive pass interference. Number 85. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's going to be a switch release to get Mitchell, the tight end, open. And when they run this little switch release, you know, it's just kind of obvious contact. You know, the coaching point for Changa Hodge, 85, would be kind of continue on your route, look for the football. If you do that, oftentimes the official won't throw the flag, but you just blatantly run into another defensive back, you're typically going to throw the flag.
So that will present a 3rd down and 26 for the Hokies, leading 33-14. And Hooker back to throw. Over the top here for Blacksburg. Trying to make a few more yards out of that play. Down he goes. And stopped by T.J. Raham. So just about 8 minutes to go here. 4th down and 17. Also today, number 13 Miami thumping Pitt 31-19. De'Aaron King, Miami quarterback, with a really fine day. 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah, he was impressive, got back on track, and we enjoyed seeing him in the opener. Such a dynamic player at the quarterback position.
Gill was going down to try and receive that after the fair catch. And Boston College will have it.
Direct impact. Boom.
As Johnson came up with that 37-yard punt. 7:34 remaining. Throw, and that one caught by the leaping Flowers. Zay Flowers came in averaging 32 yards per reception. Already named ACC Receiver of the Week 2 times this season. He's coming off a great game against Pitt last week. 162 yards and 3 touchdowns. He'll gain 9 on that one.
And he's got a lot of speed, Dave. He's the type of player that BC, when they're looking for perimeter speed, Zay Flowers is kind of the example of what they need more of on offense, and quite honestly in the secondary as well.
He'll throw again. It's going to be tipped. The ball in the air. He's already been picked off tonight. And that one tipped by Gerard Hewitt.
And Hewitt's had a nice game. You know, he's kind of a tough physical player, just great motor on him, and you know, with 2 guys on him, kind of stops his pass rush, reads the quarterback's eyes, and does a good job of getting that big paw up on the football.
Penalty, 2nd down.
So 6:57 to go here. There's a flag down on the play. So 5-yard penalty, 2nd down and 6, and another whistle. And another flag.
Ball starts. Offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You know, we really haven't seen that many of them tonight. In that sense, not a sloppy game. I know Boston College is going to say later it was a sloppy performance for them with all the turnovers. So we've had an illegal shift and then a false start. To bring up 2nd down 11. Jurkovec throwing again. Gets it complete to Flowers. Say Flowers with another catch. This gains 18.
I think in terms of those mistakes, Dave, you know, what you're worried about is you just can't get into a rhythm offensively when that happens. And then, you know, the dead ball fouls.
an injured player here.
So frustrating.
Yep, Hokies with an injured man. And that would be, I think, Justice Reed. Yeah, it is Reed. So a little gimpy as he'll walk off to the sideline here with 6:44 to go.
You know, he's okay. He's a player who's had 2 medical red shirts, and you know, they've kind of described him as a grown man, transferred from Youngstown State, and he's been a good player for the Hokies.
First down 10. He'll air it out, but incomplete. And the long ball, with very few exceptions, just has not been there tonight for Jurkovec, has it?
It hasn't been, and he's been generally accurate on throws down the field. Saw a bunch of them against Pittsburgh a week ago. I think part of it goes hand in hand with the secondary players returning, you know, for Virginia Tech, doing a good job. The pass rush and pressure that's been on Jurkovec, and just not been able to find ways to get guys loose.
On second down, has to move. They'll fire this one and complete to Flowers on that far side. And a flag is down here. And all of a sudden, a flurry of them here in the fourth quarter.
Holding, defense number 17. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Might be the only mistake that Divine Diablo has made tonight.
As you see the tight end 80, Hunter Long, just going up the field and trying to kind of beat some inside leverage, and in doing so, Diablo just grabs too much jersey.
So the penalty on the senior. Boston College with a first down and 10. Virginia Tech has gone to a bowl game every year since 1993. 27 in a row. That's the longest streak in the nation. Next is Georgia, 23. They got a battle with Alabama tonight. Long one here by the quarterback and overthrown out of bounds, intended for Galloway. And again, more good coverage by Chapman.
It is a good job by Chapman. When you think about it, Devin Taylor's had a good night. He's moved inside to safety. Chapman does a nice job here of staying on top of the wide receiver, Galloway. And you know, when you do that, the quarterback doesn't feel like he's got any room to drop the football into. And so that's why, you know, these throws down the field like that, they amount to nothing more than a long foul ball, because your receiver doesn't even have an opportunity to make a play on the ball.
Jurkovec 21 out of 39. He'll throw short this time and complete to Levy, but not what they needed there. Going to lose 3 yards on the play to bring up third down and 14. 33-14 Virginia Tech. In a game that was pretty tight early. However, Boston College shooting themselves in the foot several times with the 4 turnovers. You got to give the Hokies a lot of credit for forcing turnovers. And another long pass play, trying to keep the foot in. And it is going to be a complete pass. Well, they're going to get together here. See if he got a foot down.
To me, it looks like that left foot touches down before the right foot while he's got possession of the football. He's caught the football, left foot down, left toes down first before that right one comes down.
Play of an incomplete pass is under further review.
So that is under review. 5:29 to go here in the fourth, and a first down on that 3rd and 14. So 1st and 10 here for BC. And Jurkovec trying to continue this drive and get into the end zone again. With about 5 minutes left here at Virginia Tech, he's going to throw over the center, and he's going to throw another interception. It was Picked off once again by the Hokies. Murray still on his feet. Across the 50-yard line before he is down. Brian Murray. And in the end, Dracovic, the quarterback, is the guy who made the hit to knock him down. But he's been picked off again. So for the second time, and that's their 5th turnover for BC.
And you pointed it out that Murray has done a nice job. It's Diablo running with Hunter Long, and does a good job of just being there at the moment of truth when the ball arrives to Long to disrupt it enough. And tips and overthrows are the kind of worst thing for a quarterback, and know that feeling before. You're so frustrated after throwing an interception. The only thing you can do is hopefully make the tackle.
Have you done it yourself?
Throwing the interceptions, of course. Made the tackle, probably debatable.
We'll find the tape. I guarantee it's happened. Well, again, 5 takeaways by the Hokies. Their defense has been rock solid against a team that was really rolling offensively coming in here.
And I think you have to give some credit to Justin Hamilton, defensive coordinator for Virginia Tech. You know, a horrible week a week ago against North Carolina, as he's trying to replace a legend, and then they come out tonight at home in Blacksburg and just do a tremendous job taking the football away.
Yeah, his first game was supposed to be, you know, the delayed opener against NC State. Just hours before that, because of COVID issues, he had to bow out. He didn't even get a chance to coach that game. So you think of all the buildup to replace a legend like that, get a chance, your first crack at an opponent, and they tell you, nope, tap you on the shoulder, you're not going to get to coach tonight, and you finally do, and it goes south very quickly against the University of North Carolina. Tonight, his defense has played exceptionally well.
They have, and he's also had to do it without some of his assistant coaches, as they've been kind of contact traced or been out. And so Justin Fuente was very complimentary of the poise and the ability to handle the adversity by Justin Hamilton.
Hooker will keep it again himself, and he will dive ahead. Another carry by Hooker. When you talk about all the games that, you know, players have been affected by COVID-19, the missed games, 18 players on offense and a coach, defense, 6 coaches, special teams, 2 players and a coach. And this is the healthiest they have been this ball game tonight. Only 13 players unavailable this evening. They'll throw it again, but incomplete.
You know, and Dave, we've had the opportunity to talk to Justin Fuente, and you know, you can sense the frustration, you know, in his voice at times. You know, last week there, he even described it, I think, as kind of like 8th grade football. You know, you're drawing stuff in the dirt because you have players out of position because who's available, and players are forced to play a bunch of snaps, and they're not always being put in situations to succeed, and that can be really frustrating. But I will say this, I mean, you know, in the 2 games that we have had of theirs, which would be North Carolina State and this, it's been 2 pretty impressive efforts by his football team.
No question. Hooker will fire that one, a battle for the football. BC says that they have it on a coverage by Mike Palmer. Now they will untangle them to get a resolution here. BC behaving like they had intercepted the pass intended for James Mitchell, the big tight end.
You almost wonder, this is being ruled kind of as simultaneous possession. As Mitchell's running to the corner route, Palmer kind of runs the route as well as Mitchell does, but to me that looks like Mitchell has got enough possession of this football to rule the offense's ball.
And that is the ruling. Completed pass. He is awfully strong. Once again, the quarterback on the spin. Hooker heading for the end zone. He's in for a touchdown. Oh, sensational run by Hendon Hooker with the spin and then diving into the end zone for 6 more. 17-yard rush. He is fun to watch.
He sure is, and it's the same run, Dave, over and over again. It's a read. He's got the option to give it to the back, or he's got the option to read that defensive lineman, and if he follows the back, there's going to be a hole that opens up. He's got the ability to keep it, and as we've seen tonight, he's got the ability to really make the defense pay. This is what I'm talking about. Put the ball in the belly of the back. You got the ability to give it to him. You're going to read 93. The defensive tackle, if he chases, you keep the football. It's kind of a midline read, and then Hendon Hooker, excellent job in open space as he makes Mike Palmer miss, and then good power into the end zone.
So responsible for 3 touchdowns tonight. Hooker back in the fold as the starter. And a terrific night for him. He gets him to 40 points. Most rushing yards by a quarterback at Virginia Tech since 2000. That was Michael Vick. Went for 200. That was also against BC. And Hooker tonight with 164.
I remember that one. You said it. I was like, that sounds familiar. I think Vic did it a different way, but Hendon Hooker basically as productive, and probably a pretty similar story to that one as well in terms of takeaways, and then the offense and the quarterback making you pay.
So this one turning into a runaway for the Hokies on top 40-14. But we flash back. How about this moment? You talk about a determined quarterback and airing it out big time. Who was the receiver, Tim?
That's Dedrick DeWalt from Chicago, Illinois.
That's 97 yards, pal.
That was 97 yards. And you can see that even though it was 97 yards, I was not that excited. It's probably because the score was maybe similar. That was a really good Virginia Tech team, quarterback by Michael Vick, and like I said earlier, always tough to come to Blacksburg and play. Really tough.
So last couple of minutes here. And Virginia Tech with an impressive effort tonight. The way they have broken away, really run away and hid behind Hendon Hooker. Rakovic with the short pass, and that's going to be complete to his tight end Hunter Long before he goes out of bounds.
Dave, I don't know that I can overstate kind of the environment in Blacksburg, especially my experience with Michael Vick. They're a highly ranked team. He was one of the most exciting players to watch in all of college football. Well coached on defense, special teams amazing, and it's been a really tough program. And I think it's interesting to see what they've done as they've kind of navigated this COVID scene. They don't have their quarterback in the opener, but it's clear this is a talented team, and if they're healthy on defense, they will be tough to beat.
They should make a lot of noise in the ACC playing as they have here tonight. The offense and defense that they got this evening. We look at the upcoming schedule. Hokies about to improve to 3-1 for Coach Fuente. They've got Wake coming up, and Louisville on the road, Liberty, and then Miami, Pitt, Clemson, and finish up with Virginia on December 12th. Aired out by Jerkovic, and that'll be a completed pass to Gill.
Now, I think when you look at that schedule, I think that just from a talent perspective in terms of the roster, I think Virginia Tech is going to feel very good about it. Obviously, listen, Wake Forest is a tricky team. We've had them a bunch, but, Louisville's been struggling. Liberty, and then, you just start to look at, that game against Miami. You have two pretty highly ranked football teams. And I think that, kind of weathering the storm early on and getting that guy right there back into the lineup certainly helps.
Yeah, it could be a very, very important story in the ACC this season, the way that Coach Fuente held things together in time to get key players back and then maybe really getting rolling. Well, they certainly did tonight. The offense was impressive. Those two guys in particular, the quarterback Hendon Hooker and a running back Khalil Herbert. Tell you what, if they get Blacksburg really involved in the offense, what he's capable of doing, look out.
And think about James Mitchell, who, I mean, when you look at Brevin Jordan, and obviously Hunter Long's a good player as well, but, you know, James Mitchell is that same caliber of tight end. And you just think about the versatility offensively with the quarterback, the running backs, and a tight end like that. I would agree.
Well, tonight the Hokies with 5 takeaways in defense, and the offense 350 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. And this one overthrown on what has been a long night for Jurkovic, but a great night for the Hokies as they are sailing to a win here tonight that will improve them to 3-1. And really busting loose in the second half to put this game away. Last 30 seconds here in Blacksburg. He's going to step up this time and dive ahead across the 30-yard line. And a flag on the play.
Holding. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, both head coaches had, you know, very different looks on their faces, you know, when we spoke to them during the week. Hafley was extraordinarily upbeat, very happy with the way his team had played to this point, as well he should have been. Coach Fuente a little bit on the nervous side because of all the key players he hadn't had at his disposal, even though they had gutted their way through it. But Justin Fuente will be the one with a big smile here in just a few seconds, because the Hokies are going to go to 3-1 and are about to celebrate an impressive win over a BC team that had really high hopes about coming in here and knocking off a nationally ranked opponent.
Yeah, I think it's a great assessment by you. I do think that there's probably a sense of relief in terms of getting guys back for Justin Fuente, and I think this will be an interesting, you know, kind of experience for Jeff Hafley. Kind of the first time that you get run off the field, you see a lot of mistakes by your football team, and you know, he's emphasized so much positivity. You know, how they respond to this will be an interesting one.
There's your final score tonight. The Hokies in a runaway, 40-14, the final score. For Katie George and Tim Hasselbeck, I'm Dave O'Brien. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We'll talk to you again next Saturday right here on the ACC Network. Final score, Virginia Tech 40, Boston College 14. ACC Network continues. Coming up next, it's The Huddle. Have a great evening, everybody.